guys, hey, welcome back to another episode of The Stable. I think it's been like 2 weeks since my last video, but we had to take my sister up to Nebraska for college last week, so been kind of busy around here. But I figured this video we'll go ahead and talk about the Foxbody I picked up. So it's an 86, it's the 5.0, the first year of fuel injected, so we really don't mess with any cars before that. So that's why my love for Foxbodies pretty much starts at 86. So yeah, I guess this video is just gonna be a little bit of a documentation to show where this car starts compared to where it will be finished, and whenever that is. You know, Red Mustang here has been years in the making to even get it to this point, so I don't imagine that this one will be any different. So yeah, so the only thing I've done to this car so far is the exhaust had a hole in it, so I bought a new exhaust. It was a new H pipe, and I got tailpipes for it. The steering rack went out, so I replaced that. And oh, my heater core went out, so I had to do the famous reroute of that to get it working, because over here in the passenger side, when the heater core went out, it started leaking down in there. So I guess while it's open, we'll go ahead and show this. So the inside of this car is pretty rough. Needs new door panels. It's extremely dirty and wavy through here. The carpet is junk and looks like bleach or something with spills right there. The seats are actually busted. They just move on their own. You can see the inside's dirty. We got scraped up plastic. You can hopefully really see that side over there. So there is a condition of one of the back seats for you. The other one looks about the same. We got a cracked armrest right here, so that needs to be replaced. I do love that the seats have the halo headrests in there. So I'm gonna try just to repaint those because they're not torn or cut or anything like that. What else we got? This car does have T-tops. One of the reasons why I picked this one up when I did. The previous owner said he redid the weather stripping right there, but truthfully, all this weather stripping needs to be redone, because when you roll up this window, there's still a gap there and rain gets in here. So I had to do that to the other side. And I actually have the part to replace on the passenger side. I've just never done it, but I did it on the passenger side so the window seals up better, but there's still a gap right here, and I think it's just because the weather stripping is worn. All right, so as we make our way to the front of the car, the previous owner put, I think this is some kind of like Chinese radiator and electric fan, which I'm not sure how they have that set up, because it's not nothing typical that we've done on any of the Foxbodies we have. So I actually have Sean's electric fan system, and I have a whole parts shelf over there that we'll get to in a minute. So all that crap is going to come out of there. We did put a new battery on here, a new TFI module, because one day I was in Kansas with this thing and it didn't want to start. Previous owner did a cold air intake, and I just shortened it. He had it down in here, but I had a leak, or it was falling off on the side of the road. I ended up shortening it and making it work. And then here is where the heater core went bad, so you can see my two shiny zip hose clamps, where we rerouted that to get this thing running again. There was a small time where I was actually daily driving this car in Kansas, just while I was getting ready to move back here. The car starts, it runs. All these plug wires were just running to like random cylinders when we got this car, so me and my dad got those running to the correct ones with the correct wires. The timing's off in this thing at night. One day in Kansas, I took it out onto a dirt road and I was doing donuts in there, and a couple friends said you could see a little fireball shooting out the tailpipes at night, so that's kind of cool, I guess, but definitely not good for the car. This engine is going to be coming out soon anyways. So yeah, these fog lights, this one's busted. This one is still good, but these fog lights, for whatever reason, are extremely hard to find, and they're very pricey. Of course, they don't make them anymore, but if you find a set, they're like $800. So maybe I can find one day. If not, I'll probably just throw some other fog lights on there or take them out completely, depending on what the goal is for this car in the future. What else do we have? Oh, so we have the AC actually works on the car. I think it just needs to be recharged. Power steering pump is bad. It's leaking. There's currently no fluid in there, so very hard to turn right now. I'm not driving this car. I haven't drove in a few months just because other projects going on with this thing and the FJ out front. So I think that about covers that. As far as damage goes, the front bumper is kind of cracked and beat up right there. Side markers cracked. There's these little tiny spots. There was a couple tiny rust spots. Oh yeah, right here. So maybe not like tiny, but there's a rust spot. And then like right there, but I don't think that's gonna be anything too serious to get fixed in the future. You can kind of see them right here better. So it definitely needs to get repainted. Has a couple dings in it. There's a little dent. Needs new plastic moldings all the way around. And then possibly a new tail light. I think one of these is cracked, but these tail lights are my favorite tail lights with the red, yellow, and white. So if I get new tail lights, they'll be the same exact ones, just obviously new. And yeah, the hood, that's actually a functional hood scoop. I think that's a factory thing. I always thought the 86 Mustang GTs just had the decal that ran over here, and then it said like GT in the front right there. But I Googled it, and there's a lot of 86 GTs with this hood scoop on there. So don't know if I'll keep it. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I think the decal on there just with the normal hood looks pretty clean. But if that's a factory thing, and since it is functional, I mean, you guys can see the holes right there. Might end up just leaving it on there for now. All right, so on the inside of the car, here's what we got for gauges. It does have a little shift light like right there, if you guys can see that little arrow. And I guess that was that light would flash when you were driving, so you could keep under a certain RPM and it would do better on gas. But I love the old school factory gauges in here. Speedometer only reads up to like 85 miles per hour right there. So this says it has 90,000 miles on it, almost 91,000 miles. I believe they're all original. But yeah, that low fuel light down there, that actually works. But oh, the dash is a huge thing that is completely nasty and busted under there. So that's disgusting and nasty. And the other big part, if y'all can see above me, is this headliner. I actually ended up cutting it out the back just because it was flapping down and hitting me in the head. So that is a thing that needs to get replaced ASAP. Need a new dome light cover, a new strap, or however they fix that. I don't know what the correct fix for that. There's a mosquito right there. But the correct fixer, if that's how it's supposed to be for that map light. We have a mirror that needs to get replaced on that side. And then being real picky, this lever for the T-tops doesn't go flush all the way, which bugs me. And then you can see these the weather strippings bowed on each side for the T-top, so I want to replace that as well. But the T-top itself, it works, it latches. I've popped these out several times, especially in Kansas. So that's fine. Like I said, I just want to get it tight, flush, make it look new again. But go ahead and start this thing up. I literally will let this car sit for like 3 months and it'll fire up. So we'll go ahead and see this time. Hopefully this car doesn't make me a liar. All right, let's see. Hopefully it doesn't make me a liar. So as you guys can hear, it definitely still has an exhaust leak at the headers. I'm not too worried about that just because we got my dad new headers for Christmas. All right, so as I was saying, as the helicopters flew over just there, definitely has exhaust leaks there. It's around the headers, but I'm not worried about that because we got my dad new headers for Christmas for his car. So the shorties he has on there will come off and they're gonna go on this car. And then one of my favorite things about this car is the previous owner, to block off his vacuum line. Yep, he put a stick in it. So a lot of things that have to be fixed on this, and just a lot of things like, what the hell? So that's where that's the starting point with this. So hopefully you guys are excited. You can see where this is starting. And with all that being said, here is the short block that is going to be going in this car. I picked this up for like $700 and has never been ran. So the guy had it completely freshened up, rebuilt, and then I guess just fell out of love with the project or whatever, and I picked it up. So it's never been ran. It's all good to go. The only thing I'm gonna do different is I absolutely hate that color blue on there. So I'm gonna repaint it, probably just black, make it look pretty, and then change the cam out. So the cam we have is over here. Today was actually the first time I even opened it, and I've had it since like Christmas. But this is a Crowler 111 cam, I believe. So I'm gonna be running that. From Sean's build, he ordered these and didn't end up using them, but we have new valve covers, black overflow for the coolant. These are GT40 heads that we picked up at the junkyard. I've had these for years as well. I'm going back and forth as if I'm gonna use these or not. I'm not 100% sure right now. Part of me just really wants to get a nice set of trick flow heads. So when we boost this car later, I already know I have good heads. But that's a GT40 lower intake as well. Believe it or not, I have the GT40 upper intake, but I don't know where it's at right now. It's somewhere around here. We have the old shocks and struts off of my 96 that will work on this car. I probably should just get new ones, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with those ones. And they're definitely gonna be better than what's on the car, because that car is pretty sure it's all original. I've had it up in the air on the jack, on a lift, I mean, and everything's stock underneath there. So those will definitely be better than what's on there. Those are the springs off the front of my dad's car. What else we have? That's the other head. We got gaskets already, other valve cover. This in here in this box, or right over here, all these wires are Sean's electric fan system that he had set up on his car. Still works, so I'll be swapping that over. And then we have a different electric fan and a stock radiator to put on here. All right, so if you guys can see, it's taped up, but just peeking out of that box is a supercharger. So my dad had it on his car, and he ended up putting, it's just a small entry-level blower. It's a Paxton Nova 1000, but he still put down with that, and I can't tell you what else is done to his build, but he put down 630 at the rear wheels, like on 10 pounds of boost with that small blower. So extremely impressive. A lot of people said it wasn't true, but we all know it's true here in the house, and he has a dyno sheet to prove it. So that blower will be going on this car at some point. I don't know when. I kind of just want to get that engine put together, get the cam put in there, the heads, drop it in here. And I would like to take this car and run 103 to 104 all engine up here at elevation. Because if I can do that, that means this car is running really good for being NA, and that means it was only going to run better once I boost it. So, and on top of that, with already having one supercharged Mustang already, and the fight and the headaches I've had with that, it will kind of just be nice to have an all engine car, just to be able to get in, drive, and just enjoy. But with, I guess the metal shortage, Corona, everything else going on right now. I hopped online and checked all, like late model and all those places for ahead, and they're all completely out of stock right now. So instead of doing that right now, I ended up ordering a BMR K member for the 96. So that should be here actually any day now. It's supposed to be here last Sunday. And tomorrow is the 31st, so maybe it'll come in. Like I said, it's BMR, it's the red one that came with the upper control arms. So that just leaves me the strange coilovers to buy and the caster plates. And then this thing will finally be getting a K member. So super excited about that. And then the last update is I finally got this over here too. This is the Texit aluminum block. So I think they said some guy online pushed one of these to 1200 horsepower. So yeah, so hopefully over this break, or I would like to do it over like the off season and start building this block. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes, because that's easily going to be $6+ grand right there to do the engine how I want to do it. Because once that thing's bulletproof, the boost can be turned up all the way on this thing, and I'll probably be exceeding that blower. I need to step up the blower at that point. So the last update I have in this video is that we took my red car to the shop and had them measure what the rear end ended up being set at. And it ended up being set at a -3.7, which is super bad. It's bad for the U-joints on the drive shaft. So it would explain the wheel hop feeling that I'm getting, even though it's not wheel hop. It just feels similar. And then like the clanking, because I can hear the drive shaft. So you shouldn't exceed like, I guess, a -2 at most. So it's just been sitting at this point. I have an appointment at another shop on Wednesday with a guy. My uncle just took his Rousham and he just did the clutch. I can't think of the name of the shop off the top of my head, but he seems extremely knowledgeable about it. So we're just gonna take it to him, have him set it like at a -2, maybe like a -1.75 in there, get the rear end set up, and then this thing will be going back to the track, because I'm extremely disappointed with how it did at Bandimere, and I cannot let that stand. So, all right, guys. So I know this video was just me talking and kind of going over things. So hopefully you guys still enjoyed it. So with all that being said, please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll get some content with this thing going soon.